Hi boys and girls. As I mentioned yesterday, when we did our measurement unit, it didn't talk about all the kinds of measurement. We talked about measuring length, height, we talked about weight and capacity, but there are other things that we do that measure things like time and the temperature. You know, you might use a thermometer to find out how hot or cold it is, or how hot or cold you are when you're sick. But you use things like calendars and clocks to measure time. I use a calendar that I have in a little book, and that helps me remember when people have birthdays, when I have meetings, and also special days. I use a clock to help me remember, or to help me know what time it is, so I know when I need to be places, like when I need to meet you for your lessons. We meet at 9 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we have all of those meetings in between. So clocks are very important for people because we schedule our time. If your mom or dad has a job that they have to leave for, they have to get up and they have to leave the house by a certain time to get to their job by the right time. If they're working from home, it's the exact same thing. If you have a family dinner with grandma, she'll tell you what time to be there. You probably eat your breakfast at a certain time, and your lunch at a certain time, and your dinner at a certain time. So we use time and clocks all day long to help us get to things we need to get to. So I thought I'd share my clock with you again. So yesterday we talked about how the clock has 12 hours on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, there are 24 hours in our day. So to have a full day, and that includes the night, 24 hours in a day and a night. A full day means that the hands on this clock have to go all the way around the clock 2 times. 12 plus 12 makes 24. So when you're asleep at night, it's midnight. And then it's 1 a.m., 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is our morning time. 12 is about lunchtime. That's the middle of the day. It's called midday, or noon is what we call 12. Now after that 12 o'clock lunchtime, it's 1 in the afternoon, and after 1, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're starting to get into the evening hours when the sun is about to go down. So now the sun goes down, and it's nighttime, and then it gets to midnight, and that's the middle of the night. 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and so on. So the clock hands go around 2 times completely around the clock for 1 day. And when I say a day, I'm talking about the night and the day of that day. So like today is March 5th. At midnight last night, it changed from March 4th to March 5th. And while you were sleeping, we had 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and so on until you woke up. So I thought today I'd tell you about the hands of the clock. There are 2 hands on a clock. There's a longer hand. This one right here is longer. It's harder to tell on this clock. Let me get a little closer. You can see the longer hand and a shorter hand. The long hand is called the minute hand, and the short hand is the hour hand. Now when we learn to tell time in kindergarten, we learn to tell time to the hour. What that means is if the minute hand stays on 12 but is pointing at 1, it's 1 o'clock. If it's pointing at 2, it's 2 o'clock. if it's pointing at 3, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. We're not worried about the minute hand, just the hour hand. The short hand is the hour hand, okay? So, the way that that could be written on, oh, I carried away my marker. The way that we write time is we write it like this, the digital time. Like this is 12, and then the 2 zeros are like o'clock. 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Where did I put that marker? Let me grab it real quick. Sorry guys, I'm working from different stations and I carry things off. So if I were writing 12 o'clock, I would write 12, and that's a colon, the 2 dots, and 0, 0. This is your minutes, and this is your hour. This is called the digital time. There are clocks that look like that too. So this is 12 o'clock. What I have down here is the digital time. And up here, I have clocks. It's called analog time. What we're going to do today is we are going to cut out those digital times, and we're going to match them to the analog time. So I'm just going to cut a straight line across my paper where the dashed line is. That way my paper is nice and neat and tidy on the bottom and not a big mess. So see, I have that line all the way across. And then I'm going to look at, I'm going to cut out one of these. So I think I'll just start here. I'll cut out the rest of these. And I've got 2. All right. So if I look at the digital time here, it's 11 o'clock. Well, I know that at 11 o'clock, the small hand, and that means the hour hand, is pointing at 11. Look here. This one is pointing at 11. So I am going to glue that 11 o'clock under the one where the little hand is pointing to the 11. Now remember, the minute hand is always pointing at 12. On all of these, the minute hand is pointing at 12. It's because we're only working on telling time to the hour. Now I have 5 o'clock. So I need to find the one that shows 5 o'clock. Does this one show 5 o'clock? No, it's pointing at the 3. Does this one? It's pointing at the 12. Does this one? It's pointing to the 8. Does this one? It's pointing to the 5, so yes it does. So I put 5 o'clock under the clock that's showing 5 o'clock. All right, I'm going to leave the rest for you to figure out. Remember, you look at the number in the hours place, and then you find the hour hand that shows that number. And you are telling time to the hour.